Happy Tuesday! What's up, manifestors? It's Lisa here. Let's see, starting this other live. Let's see. Going live. Ow! All right, we are live on Facebook and Instagram. What's up, everybody? So, this is Tuesday Talks and Tarot. I'm going to be pulling a card later for anyone and everyone who's here. So, today's topic is boundaries. So the card is going to be in relation to boundaries. So what's up? Boundaries. What a topic for today, man. Oh, been thinking about it all morning. So I'm a mind mastery coach and breathwork practitioner, and I help people navigate their mind to be able to align your thoughts with what it is that you want in your life. So, part of that is learning how to navigate that inner critic that comes through. So, it's about turning that inner critic into your inner coach so that you are the one moving through resistance easily, that you know how you move through change, basically. Change is inevitable. Nothing stays the same. The more we can ride the waves of the ups and the downs, the more we can learn that the contraction is the preparation for the expansion. The more that you can just learn how you navigate difficult times is going to help you move through life with more ease and grace. And so that's what I do. I'm super excited that before I get into boundaries, I just want to say that I am launching the Self Mastery Lab, which is going to be the monthly membership starting in about a month from now, month and a half. And so I'm going to be, if you're interested in that, let me know. It's going to be meeting twice a month, and you'll be getting mind mastery and breath work. And it's a place for me to feel free actually to give all of what I give and for you to receive that and grow. Because if there's one thing I've learned on my path is that manifesting and uncovering and unfolding takes time, especially in light of today's topic, which is boundaries. So let me just jump into that as a segue. So if you're here joining me, say hello, say good morning, and let me know that you're here. Drop me an icon if you want. I love little icons. Maybe what's an icon? Or share with me, we're going to be talking about boundaries. This is all about perspective shifting, which means the more we can all share our perspectives on a topic, the more we can learn that there are many ways to look at something. So I'm just here, I'm sharing mine. I am not a guru. I am just someone who wants to share perspectives to open up because I'm always learning too. All right, so let's dive in. Boundaries. I want to be honest. Like I did this topic today because I actually wanted to spend some time looking into my own boundaries because I think what I learned. Oh, let me pull this up. A bunch of people posted today, this week, when I said this week's topic was boundaries. They were saying they wanted a few things addressed, and patience is a virtue. And good morning to you, and good evening from India. Hello, India has a very special place in my heart. Spent 6 months there doing breath work, actually at a training teaching others this biodynamic breath work that I'm trained in, which, by the way, is so amazing for getting clear about what it is that you want. I am actually just pulling something up really fast, and then we're going to dive in. Okay, here we go. So, boundaries. It's kind of hard to know where to start with this one. I'm going to start here. A lot of us think about boundaries in respects to. Actually, I'm going to start with this. I have been learning about a guy named Dr. Henry Cloud. He does a lot of stuff around, and especially in YouTube, about boundaries. And he's a quote that I had put up for this week, which is like, boundaries help us identify where I end and you begin. And there was something powerful about that tiny little thing. Not only physically, like here's my skin and here's your skin, but energetically too. Like there's these, hola, Nancy, boundaries. It's basically this, well, he refers to it later as a property line. Like, I love this. Okay, so he talks about it as a property line. And imagine you have a house and you're in a neighborhood and there's property lines. And this is my house and we have this understood property line, and then this is your house and you have your understood property line. And you don't just trespass into the other person's property. No, I mean, you can go over, knock on the door, and then they can tell you, welcome, come on in. And this is what we do in life. We say, welcome, come on in. Maybe consciously or unconsciously, we invite people in without understanding, did that fit into my value? Is this feeling good? Oh yeah, that's actually where I wanted to start, is that boundaries are about knowing your yeses and your nos. And that your entire life is strung together with yeses and nos. You are, throughout your day, you are constantly saying yes and no to something, to everything, to nothing, to someone, to yourself. And so much of the time we think about boundaries in relation to other people, but I actually would like to pull it back, and it's knowing your own boundaries first. And there's this misconception that that when we say no to others, that, or like this people pleasing thing, like I always have to people please, people please, people please, and that's going to make them happy. But what I am learning, and the hard way, is that the more I am clear about my own self-respect and my value, and I stand strong in what I believe, other people actually respect you more. They know how to be around you. You are literally training them how to be around you, how to respect you. And I'm all over the place a little bit because I spent the whole week, week before this, really diving into this boundary thing, and it got me, it got me seeing so many different things. Like, boundary is the ultimate self-care. We think about self-care as, oh, am I meditating? Am I eating right? Am I working out? Well, actually, it's about boundaries. First of all, to eat right, you have to know your yeses and your nos. To work out, you have to know your yeses and your nos, because you're planning your day. You're organizing what you have to say no to for you to say yes to you. And we're not always doing that. And drop me some info here on what you think about boundaries, because as I said, this is a conversation I want to have, because some people wrote here today, that boundaries are challenging for them. Let's see. So on boundaries are slippery, because that's one of the words. I'm reading this post from today, the other day. Yeah, they're slippery because when you grow up with loose boundaries, then you are not able to know those yeses and nos. And so a lot of your life is actually living outside in versus inside out. And it's hard to go from outside in to inside out, because the process of reestablishing that center point of no is actually working through trauma, because we have not up until now said no because of fear of someone else's reaction, fear that they won't like us, fear that we won't be asked to go to do that thing, fear of so many things. But the flip and the reframe around the boundaries is that you are the winner always when you are saying no to someone else as a self-care to saying yes to you. You win. And it actually, in light of my last week's integration, and everything has been following, we're at boundaries for a reason right now, because we've been moving through this. We plant the seed, we get into our alignment, we get into integration, and then once we're starting to be in our own alignment and integration, to stay here, we must have these clear boundaries of what is it that is I need for myself to stay here. And boundaries is one of them. And, I use property line from that Henry Cloud guy. And I also want to say, it's like a concentric circle. Boundaries, it's like a target. When you're allowing people in, to allow them into the core space, that center circle, it's like they have to, in some ways, earn it. And to earn it, you must establish the throughway, the way to get there. So random stranger isn't going to come into your property line and just come into your house and then go sit down and have dinner. And they might, you might be open to that, but they're not going to get this core part of you. So slippery boundaries are because we don't have our clear yeses and our nos with ourselves. And it's not our fault. It's actually, we grow up in a society that actually has us doing for others first, taking care. We're in a caretaking society first versus ourselves first. Like that's why they have even remind us on an airplane, put your oxygen on first before you help others. It's like we are no good to others if we're not in our own power and safety. And actually, when you establish your own boundaries and you're clear about them, you make other people feel safe around you. You're not wishy-washy. So another thing we have here that got written in was, it's a challenge for me. I seem to have not set them for so long that now I seem sometimes to struggle with not enforcing the ones I have set. It's like a muscle. And it really takes small incremental change. I wanted to share that I have felt that exact same thing to the point where when I have gone to then set a boundary or establish something in the past, there has been this, and if you resonate with this, let me know, because there has been like this shaking, oh my God, like trauma, tremor, like I'm almost gonna die type of like, it's like the smallest whispers, like, yes, you know, you have to do that. This is the voice of reason. This is the voice of power. This is the voice of self-respect, of self-value, of everything. But because of what these posts have been sharing, that I hadn't done it for so long, it's almost like what was right is wrong, which is wrong is right. And like I'm recalibrating everything. And so to stand in my value almost felt wrong for so long. How weird, how messed up. And I'm doing this thing today on boundaries because I want to say that I have worked through that over time to be able to come to, and I just recently have set some boundaries in this zero fucks radical acceptance phase that I'm in. I realize that if you flip it and you, instead of what you're saying no to, you always look at what you're saying yes to, which is how I teach manifesting. Less of what you're letting go of, but more of what you're creating, which is the opening instead of the discarding, which is the expansion rather than the contraction. I realize I am saying yes to my value. I am saying yes to my worth. And if I stay clear on that, like right now, my mantra every day is I am met. And this is a long one, so stay with me here. But now that I have it, I've memorized it before. For a while, I was like, I won't be able to memorize it. What's up, Monica? Hey, girl. My mantra right now is I am met energetically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, intellectually, cosmically, sexually, sensually, creatively. I know it's a lot. I am met emotionally, energetically, physically, spiritually, financially, intellectually, creatively, sexually, sensually. When I stay in that truth, I set my boundaries to meet me there, because I have found that when I don't set my boundaries, I have dumbed myself down. I have dulled my light. I have gone down. Yeah, girl. I have gone to other people's, and I say level not because I'm better or better than anyone. I'm saying that frequency wise, I want to stay with people that raise me up. And I did it because I was not in my self-worth up until now. And this topic of boundaries actually feels very vulnerable to me because I was like, who am I to talk about boundaries? I don't have clear boundaries. And I was like, you know what? Every topic I've done on here is because I am learning it, because I want to sit here and talk about it, because I want to be better at them, because I am better at them. Each time I look at myself, I get to be better. I get to ask everyone here, like, how do you move through boundaries? How do you set your boundaries? And I can tell you that knowing my no's and knowing my yeses, and breath work has been so helpful. I mean, just standing like this in breath work and being like, yes, pulling it in. Yes, pulling it in. Or if you've done any of my breath work, we are like, no, 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 no more, no more, no more. And I invite you to participate in a post that I have this week on I no longer tolerate, and what are you no longer tolerating? Because I did that as a part of a different group I was in a few weeks ago. And I was like, you know what? No more. I am not tolerating being spoken to like that. I am not tolerating people taking from me and not giving back to me, because why? I am being met energetically, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and you got it. And thank you, Monica, for writing it here. So if you want to read those, go for it. And you know what? It's freeing. Setting boundaries not only helps other people respect you, but you feel free. You feel like, okay, but let's address this other thing. It is scary when you say no, and it's a real thing, because we do fear from whatever might have happened in your past that someone will leave you, that you'll be abandoned, that the emotion can run so strong in your blood, like you feel like you cannot do it. And I've been there, and I can just say it's okay to not do it and to feel the someone taking advantage of you until you're ready. Like, I was in something for 5 years until I was ready, and then I did it, and I did it shaking, and I was on the phone with my best friend, and she's like, you got to block him. You got to block him right now. You just, for your self-worth and I was like, I would get like this with my friends around my relationships, which is where most of this boundary stuff, I'd be like, you don't care about me. You don't want me to be happy, to my best friend who like only has my best interest in mind. And I would get so mad at her because I believed my lie. I believed it so much that I'd be like, you don't love me. And I would, but the whisper in me, the one that was like, you know, in your quiet time that she's right, you know that you have to do this. And at one point, I remember surrendering and just being like, you know what do you have to lose? And that's a lot of the time when I've set boundaries, I was like, just try it. Just try it. I've given so much attention to this other part of my life of standing strong and letting people run over me and like, hey, take. Why not give a little energy and playtime to saying no once in a while? Hey, let's see how it feels. I mean, why not be playful with boundaries within yourself if they feel hard? And I was like, okay, I'm doing it. And it's like this amazing feeling. I mean, besides the fact that I had to like calm myself down because my whole nervous system, which is exactly what happens, is that your nervous system is so charged up with the fears of not being liked or not fitting in. Because when we set a boundary, like I was saying with this Henry Cloud guy, we establish our property line. And to do that, we must be secure, alone, inside of this property line, alone, by ourselves, with ourselves. So if nobody was to come in, that we are whole and complete exactly as we are. We stand for our value. We stand for our self-respect. We stand for the highest good of ourselves. Oh, and that's the other thing that another woman, and I want to talk about what she was saying, is she says your boundaries have your best interest in mind. Just like I was talking about alignment 2 weeks ago, alignment is your ally. It is always trying to, between boundaries and ally, I guess boundaries and ally are BFFing, because they're like, come on, Lisa, listen, come on, we got this, we're trying, and they're just like trying to move you, and they're trying to help you. And if you listen, you will be guided. And it's not, oh, I love what this one woman, I was listening to a TED talk this morning. She was like, yes and no are not feelings. So when you say your yes and when you say your no, other people are going to have reactions to it. Get used to it. In fact, expect it. So you can then move through working with someone when you then here's where we get into the mind mastery piece, in my opinion, where it's about your words matter and really learning how to communicate. Speak from the I and state the facts. Those are two things if you want to learn some powerful communication skills. Speak from the I, because no one can ever say, no, you don't feel that way. Excuse me. And state facts. This happened. Do you agree? Like, this is how I saw what happened. This feels like this, this was my experience of what happened. Do you agree? So when you start to speak from the I and state the facts of a situation, like you showed up at 20 minutes past what we said we were going to do. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Well, I felt this way from that. How can we improve this? So I'm not going to get into the communication aspect of things here, but uh, if you ever want to, because that actually is another part of boundary setting is communication, because how we set boundaries can change the way that the person is interacting with you, like, and how you're interacting with yourself. Like, how are you honoring it? Okay, another message I got was boundaries. What are those? Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm currently working on letting go of feeling small. The way we think about things and the way we speak about things have power. Exactly. So I would flip this to, yes, honor that you have noticed that you're working on letting go of feeling small. But I would actually say, who are you if you're not small? And start to open up with, who are you if you are playing big? Because really, we keep ourselves small because there's a part of us that could be afraid of what the bigness is. Like, is it safe to get bigger? Are you rooted down enough to rise up to hold it? Because as below, so is above. So, again, and I was saying earlier, like, less about what you're letting go of and more about what you're opening up to. So I want to, yeah, so it's very important for me to be authentic and have integrity. So, yes, of course, integrity. What a great word to bring into this moment right now. Thank you. Because integrity is about boundaries. I mean, we all have our own meter of yeses and nos and rights and wrongs and the morality and the compass in which we move and how we serve and help people. And to stay, I mean, I'm sure you've heard, integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. That always struck me as powerful. Actually, oh my God, I just got emotional with that because I live my life that way. Very important to me. So let me look over here at my notes. Yoli, I love you too. I miss you. Like I said, self-mastery lab coming. I miss hearing about your life and your beautiful world that you're navigating. All right, so this is what I'm going to say right now. Oh my God, this is the one I've taken the most notes of. So I've already mentioned the thing about self-care and that boundaries are like the unspoken self-care, right? Nobody talks about like, oh, let me go and learn how to set better boundaries, because if I set better boundaries, that's like the ultimate way of loving myself. And you know what? To do that can be having a mantra or an affirmation that reminds you of your self-worth. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of prosperity. I am abundant. Like, it doesn't always have to be these like, I don't let toxic people in. But look, if you have toxic people in your life, and sometimes if it's your family members, you can't just like discard them. So you learn to set boundaries around them. And one energetic thing that I do when I'm around certain, I literally set a force field. I will go like this, force field up, and I will like cover my whole body, because that property line, go all the way down to your feet, touch the ground, raise up. That property line, this funny like 6 feet apart from people. Your aura, your energetic field literally is 6 feet away from you. So your boundary, when you feel someone watching you, or you feel people in your space, those are boundaries. You get to be like, step back, step away. So, yeah, I guess just to recap, we have boundaries with others, we have boundaries with ourselves. The more you have your boundaries with yourself, the more other people are going to know how to interact with you. How you treat yourself is the training of how other people treat you, including how you talk to yourself. You talk to yourself with kindness, you'll notice people around you will begin to talk to you in kindness. So, we're going to be picking some tarot cards in a minute. I'm going over today, but I'm going to be okay with that because this is a really important topic, and I'm enjoying it. So I think I've covered that. So you err on the side, another comment I got, I err on the side of putting myself down, but that's the boundary now, not doing that anymore. So, oh, hey, Adrian, you made it. I know. So if you want to fill in the tolerate thing, I no longer tolerate putting myself down or, and then next week, in fact, is going to be a topic that will balance this out, and it will be what you're opening up to. Oh, I summed it up nice. I'm glad that you're feeling that way. I love the energy force. Great. Hey, Mindy, Pat, Nancy, thank you, ladies, for being here. All right, so let's see. Other people are going to get, yeah, other people are going to get angry and disappointed sometimes when you set your own boundary. And so you got to ask yourself the question that, which is more important to you? Them managing their emotion to your boundary or you changing your truth? I think that was a little bit of a mic drop moment. And I want to say something about that. Oh, shoot, it just left me. Wait. Yeah, boundary settings are going to unleash. I wish I could rewind right now. Wait, are you going to? Oh, yes. Early in my coaching career, I had this huge aha being taught to me about coaching. So I just said, people are going to get angry. Wait, this is really important. So if you're still here or you're on the replay, let me know what you think about this because this was a huge moment for me. And this changed the way I moved through communicating with people and everything. So in my coaching career, early, I didn't want to upset people. I didn't want to be the cause of a trigger. As a coach, I was like, oh, I need to make sure everything is moving well, or blah, blah, blah. And then one time, a mentor said to me, first of all, I am not responsible for people's triggers. I am actually doing them a disservice by keeping them from having that trigger, especially as a coach, because I'm there to help them identify it and work through it. But I remember this moment where I was like, wait a minute. I should not change what my truth is because of being afraid that it's going to trigger something and they're going to have an emotional reaction, when actually that emotional reaction that they're having is exactly the thing that they need to grow into the person that they need to grow into. That they facing that trigger, if they choose to move through it, if they choose to have the self inquiry, to find the self mastery through it. And who am I to deny them of that experience, no matter how hard, or I project how hard that emotion that they have to go through? Because I know that I have grown through my pain. I have grown through my triggers because I choose to see my triggers as the way through. I choose to allow my triggers or my emotions, my deep, deep emotions, to be how I learn about myself. So it's about holding space for them. Like, oh, that seems to have upset you. Like, you want to talk about it? Instead of not sharing my truth, I identify seems like, sounds like, looks like, let's talk. So that was a big one for me, especially as a coach, because I realized not to take that personally too. Those 4 agreements, don't take it personally. I've really worked on that one. I'm able to stand and be like, yeah, oh my God, I'm so sorry that upset you. Let's talk about it. So, all right. Deep breath to boundary setting, deep breath to boundaries, deep breath to loving yourself, to self-respect, to think of a number and give me a number so I can pick a card for you. And let's pick some cards for boundaries. So one girl wrote, or this morning asked for 48. So I'm actually going to just pick her 48 first because I got to count to 48. So why don't you all, if you're here, 3 people on Facebook and a few people here on Instagram, let me know what your number is while I do this. 7. Got you, Yoli. 1. Actually, I'll do you first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, 1, 2. Okay, hold on. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 48, Allison and Mindy. 4. Beautiful. Anybody else we got here? 7. Michael, nice to see you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Anybody else? I got you, right? 2. Yeah. Okay. Yoli, boundary setting, slowing down. It's the turtle. 2 things about this. What I was saying about trespassing. The beautiful thing about the turtle is that he always carries his home wherever he goes. So that property line, that's always with you. It's that internal. So be careful who you let into your heart. For like, they need to get through the shell and earn it. You have to trust them. They need to mean what they say and say what they mean. And that's the other thing, is that we have to trust people's actions, not just their words, because a lot of boundary stuff gets beaten down from people just talking smack and not really keeping their word. Ourselves first. Do you keep your word to yourself first? That is going to be the one that helps other people keep their word to themselves, because you are going to be the example of it. Second of all is that slowing down allows you to listen and you're not getting pushed around quickly. So you're deep breath, tune in. Does this feel right for me? Does this align with my self-respect? You ask yourself some questions. Does this work for me? How do I feel about this? It's coming from that place. Let me know what you think, Yoli. Drop some nuggets here for me, or how this card, how you're receiving this card. Adrian, 2, exhaustion. So this can sometimes show up in boundary setting, in the world of boundary setting for today. You know how I always like keep it to the topic. If you are just, running your brain, this is about the well-oiled machine of your brain. It's just working and working and working to exhaustion. You may not have the energy to set boundaries, and this is when we can get run over and we get exhausted from other people then telling us what to do. And you know what? I lived a life like that because I did not know how to navigate what I wanted for myself, especially with food and exercise. I started listening to everybody else, and that was exhausting. So this might be a message to go inward, to maybe meditate, listen, write that list of what I no longer tolerate, because maybe people are taking advantage of you and it's actually exhausting you. I don't know. Let me know what resonates here when you see the word exhaustion. It's also an action card, which means taking action in your life to set the boundaries, taking action to come back home to yourself. Mindy, participation. I love it. I love how, as you are, because I know the journey you're on right now, and you are reconnecting with all these other people around you, laughing and being out there into the world where maybe other people will show you that, that you get to show people your new boundaries, where you get to be clear about what your yeses and your nos are. And then you will realize that there's a lot of people that can be, because these are 4 people in the shape of a mandala. It's this unity, and each is individually standing in its own power, but together as a force. And I think that's also the beauty of a healthy relationship. In relationships is that you are individual and can co-create together, but not dependent. And the boundaries are clear that nobody is taking advantage of each other. So I love that. Let me know what you think of that. Michael, 7, the dream. This is an emotions card. Yours was an action card, Mindy. Boundaries. Well, this card is about how the dream, and the way that we can, I'm going to spin this for the boundary thing, is that the ways that we can actually lie to ourselves when we're not setting the boundaries, and we can fool ourselves to think that life is but a dream and that we can start comparing, and then our boundaries go low, and then we can allow ourselves to get taken advantage of, when actually, first of all, I think that the dream is just the first relationship with yourself, and you loving yourself. Again, back to the turtle card, like your property line has to be yourself first. And when you establish healthy boundaries with yourself, as in like taking care, like I said in this talk about boundaries are the ultimate act of self-care. And and I can say without a doubt that the more I have my own structure in my life, that working out is my number one priority. Eating healthy is my number one priority. Managing my alcohol intake, watching when I sleep, all of these things. When I do those things as personal boundary settings, I attract people that are also doing that, so that basically my boundaries and the way that I self-care start to attract the way others self-care. When I'm not doing that, I start to attract people that feed into my toxic behaviors, feed into my inability to hold my boundaries. This is where you can get into some narcissist stuff, because they can sniff out people who don't have strong boundaries. You become prey, parasites. Narcissists are like, they will latch on to people who do not have strong boundaries. And sorry, my phone was ringing. I just had to make sure it didn't they will latch on to people who have don't have strong boundaries. And that was a hard lesson for me, because I was attracting a bunch of narcissists over and over again. And until I stopped blaming outside and I start looking at, well, why is this happening to me? And that's a very vulnerable thing to share right now, because I was feeling embarrassed and a lot of shame around that. Why was I this amazing, beautiful, talented person that just felt like I was always attracting these people that were taking advantage of me? But then I realized they were here to strengthen my boundaries. They were here to help me create my property line. And I have to say, everything has led me to this moment right now, which is about being in my value, in my self-worth, in my self-respect. And I know I am attracting some really powerful people right now, because I am no. Yes. I know my yeses and it's still hard. So I'm going to end with, La Sagonia, 3, got you. One more. And also, Allison, when you come and you watch the replay, you got compromise. And you said that you were going to tell me more about why 48 is your number. But compromise, talk about ending boundary talk on compromising, is that when we are in clear boundaries with ourselves and with others. Yes, Yoli, it was slowing down. It was the turtle card slowing down. When we are in clear boundaries with ourselves and with others, then we have the ability to have healthy compromise with ourselves and others. And we can then move with ease, knowing that what I say isn't going to always disrupt everything. And then I have to fear it. Then I have to go inward. And then fear of abandonment and all of the old stuff. And then this is really where the elevated and the enhanced communication comes in. So, La Sagonia, I love your name. I don't know. What is that your first name? 1, 2, 3. Woo! Hot way to end this day on Inner Voice. Thank you for all of you for staying with me today. I'm so honored. I'm always like just really touched that you all listen and are here with me. So, Inner Voice. Wow. I mean, talk about a great boundary word to get, because you got to listen to yourself. Trust yourself. You know you the best. And this is going to be such a contradictory statement. When it comes to these things, it gets tricky. Remember how I said I was trying to push the button to block someone that I knew I needed to spend some time away from? And it was like what was right was wrong, what was wrong was right. Sometimes there's this tricky little space in between our boundary setting, especially if you've been locked into some codependency or narcissistic behaviors, or you have trauma around boundaries. You have to be very careful, because sometimes your inner voice can be tricky. But for the purpose of this moment, if you do go deep enough and you listen, because even though I wasn't trusting that voice, I knew deep down when I was going to bed or when I was journaling, where I was meditating, I still heard her. I still heard her crying out to me saying, "You deserve better, Lisa." And I heard her saying, "We got this." And then I would come out into the world, and then there would be the fear. So, inner voice, listen to yourself, trust yourself, and take action. And we'll end it like we started. Know your yeses and know your nos, because they are what are stringing together your day. Is full of decision making. The more you're clear, and if you don't know, you can feel it. You can feel the yeses and the nos. They are something that lives in your nervous system. You can know it. I swear. Pay attention. Do some breathing. Listen. Okay. Okay, I see a few more comments, and then we're going to say goodbye. It's not my fault with the narcissist. I know it's not my fault. It was the most beautiful mirroring of my life, and it has brought me here doing this work. And I remember the moment where everything that was happening to me led me here to being able to offer my stories with all of you. So nothing is bad. It's all beautiful. It's all elevating, and it's all here for us to grow, to know ourselves. So Self Mastery Lab launching soon. If you want to get in on that, I haven't finished the details of like pricing and stuff like that, but we're going to be meeting twice a week. I'm going to have guest speakers, and guests like Lisagonia is going to come in there, I'm sure. And it's going to be really amazing. And I love you all, and I see you soon. One love. Reach out if you need anything. I'm here. I have a few spots in my coaching practice too if you need some private work. And there's going to be, oh, Monica, if you're still here, there's going to be a retreat in Mexico. I'm coming back to Mexico. I miss it every day. And when I see your posts, I'm always like, I'm coming. Mexico rules. Okay, I love everybody. Drop me messages if you need anything. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.